how would you describe your food like philosophy?
Work with what's best. Okay, when you put this down on the table, the leaf needs to be facing the customer like this. So I'll get these questions and I'm like, man, I don't care where the leaf faces. You know what I mean? Like if the customer, 9 times out of 10, you're going to take a photo of it anyway. You know what I mean? So
and they'll probably move it to whatever angle they
move it to whatever angle you want the leaf on.
And Melbourne's like the foodie capital of Australia.
It is, yeah. But sometimes it's like, well, regional's doing okay too. You know what I mean? Like, thank you for what you believe that to be a compliment. But we know what we're doing up here, and you know what I mean? There's a lot of restaurants that are pushing the boundaries and creating nice food and comparable, if not better, than some of the big cities throughout Australia. So,
100%. Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Matt O'Hanlon podcast. On today, we're joined by Chef Michael Brine, executive chef and co-owner of Touch of Salt. Michael spent much of his nearly 2 decades shaping North Queensland dining scene, from opening a Touch of Salt at just 26, winning his chef's hat, top 50 restaurant accolades, and hosting community food festivals, and even a cooking crocodile sausage in Oregon, I think.
Correct.
Is that right?
Man, good research.
Very good. So today we'll explore early years, challenges, starting a new restaurant, evolution, a Touch of Salt, food philosophy, global adventures, and his thoughts on hospitality and dining into the future. So Michael, thank you. Thanks for jumping on.
Absolute pleasure. Thanks for the invite.
All right, awesome. So I don't know, we'll get straight into it. So,
go for it.
Hey, for listeners who might not know you, how would you introduce yourself?
Michael Brine. Obviously, I would consider myself a local boy. Done all my primary school and high school all through Townsville, and operating a restaurant, family-run restaurant, a Touch of Salt there in the middle of the city for the last 20 years. Actually, this Sunday we turned 20.
Yeah, wow.
A long time. So, I'd introduce myself as Michael Brine, the executive chef of a Touch of Salt restaurant. I don't think I would talk about the crocodile sausage rolls. And I probably wouldn't. I'm probably humble, a little too humble to acknowledge all the awards and things like that, maybe.
Yeah.
So I don't wear those badges around when I meet and greet people. But, that would be my kudos, executive chef and owner. Touch of Salt restaurant, correct?
Yeah, wow. Yeah. Going back to those earlier, what made you get into cooking to start with?
Initially, I was a kitchen hand, so I finished school, wasn't 100% sure what I wanted to do after school. I don't have one of those stories like I was collecting mud crabs with my grandfather when I was 4 or something like that. Not the case. My dad's a very good cook, so we ate well growing up. I was finished school, was a kitchen hand, went to university after school, as I wasn't 100% sure what I wanted to do, but wasn't a fan of school really, and therefore not really a fan of university. But at that stage, I was still a kitchen hand. So I started to sort of take a bit of a shine and interest in regards to the kitchen, and sort of became a bit more valuable, I guess, as a player in the kitchen, was allowed to do a few more things, very inquisitive. So I was always sort of taking notes and writing things down and doing probably jobs that I wasn't supposed to do, as opposed to the jobs I was meant to do.
Oh, like getting things prepped, that sort of stuff.
That type of scenario. And I think it was the camaraderie, that sort of team, that really drew me to the industry itself. I like sport. I like team sports, soccer and things like that. So I think that was the aspect, like to feel included in the team. And people always liken kitchens like you're going into battle. It's not quite a battle. It's a bit more reserved than that. I think that's a bit, chefs call that so they sound cool.
Yeah.
But the camaraderie was probably the main thing that drew me towards it.
Yeah, because everyone out the back there, they would all have a role to play.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, without a doubt. And you're relatively in a small or somewhat confined space, and you're in each other's pockets.
Yeah,
because of that all
9-10 hours a day.
Yeah, exactly right. So you get to, you sometimes might only work with someone for 3 months, 5 months, but you get to know that person quite well, because as I said, you're sort of going through a very minor battle each service or each shift, and you sort of see probably a lot of different sides of someone, whether or not sometimes they're happy, sometimes they're a bit frustrated or something like that through a service. So you get to know people very quick. It's a bit like if you watch the show Survivor, they seem to create pretty quick bonds. Not quite that quick, but
Yeah, so more like Survivor, not like
Love
did you ever watch
sight.
or Hell's Kitchen or anything like that?
Hell's Kitchen. We try not to operate like Hell's Kitchen. I think that sort of aggression, I think, in the industry is something that is long gone. or hopefully is long gone. I mean, if you want your kids and things like that to come in the industry and the industry to prosper into the future, I don't think you can act like that. I think that might be a little bit of show.
Yeah, it'd be for the show, sure.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Yeah, 100%. So whereabouts did you do your apprenticeship?
I done my apprenticeship in Townsville, so I started at the Sheridan, which then turned into the Ville and is now there's still the Ville, isn't it, down on the Strand?
Yeah, still the Ville.
Yeah. So I done my whole apprenticeship there, worked under Anthony Ross, like a Chinese guy to start with. He was our original head chef, and then went under Jimmy Manel, who was an Italian guy. So I've had a fair... got to sort of work in every section in regards to sort of pastries, functions, a la carte, buffets. So have quite a broad and sort of rounded apprenticeship, which was quite beneficial.
Yeah, because when you're doing that, like the main sort of three, I guess, foods, you've got like Italian, like maybe French, Asian.
Yeah, 100%.
They're the three big ones.
I would say so.
Yeah,
big time. The and I mean, depends where you're situated in the world. Obviously, up here is very Asian or Southeast Asian orientated, so it was good to have that initial training in that field. Yeah,
awesome.
Yeah,
and then looking back at that, like what sort of lessons, did you bring forward with it, like that you sort of hold on to today?
The biggest lesson I remember getting sat down and told just arrive 15 minutes early. You know what I mean? And I think that's something, I mean, I didn't arrive 15 minutes early today, so I haven't carried it all the way through into my adult life. But that's something that I think I've tried to sort of instill in people and instill in myself. And that's as simple as arriving 15 minutes early and you get the best containers, or you get the best bench, or you get the best board, or you know what I mean? And you're getting ready for the day. So that was probably a big thing that I took out of it. But we were also treated very well. We were treated very respectfully, and I don't have any of those sort of Hell's Kitchen stories in regards to pans or anything like that being thrown at me. So I think that was very beneficial to my upbringing, potentially how I operate a kitchen now, to be honest.
You're a pretty calm guy, so.
I'm pretty calm. Yeah, I've had a few. Depends who you talk to. I think if you talk to my brother, it might say a couple of different stories, or he has a few different views here and there. But yeah, in regards to professional chef and kitchens, I've been told I'm quite calm.
Yeah. So what was like going into Touch of Salt then, what was your vision behind that, like starting Touch?
I was in London at the time, so I was there with my wife. We were working in a couple of restaurants overseas, and I thought, I reckon I could do something, you know what I mean? I reckon I could potentially open something when I come back to town. And I was sort of dreaming and envisioning at the same time, and I was remember talking to my father over the phone and sort of saying, I think I could probably kick something off when I come back. And, you know what I mean, sort of thought, young buck, you know what I mean, I should be all right, nothing to lose. And then when I got back, I was sort of a bit more like, I don't know about that. But my dad was quite proactive. He's like, well, you know, you said you could potentially run something. Should we go and have a look around? So
see what's out there.
Yeah, so that's what we did. And we went and looked at a handful of places. A Touch of Salt rocked up. At the time it was called Riverbend. Before that it was Winston's on the Water.
Yeah, I remember Winston's.
Yeah, Winston's on the Water. And so we went and looked at that space, and it was a large space. But the plus side from my perspective, the kitchen was quite large. Like I never wanted to operate a restaurant where I'm just the sole chef in the restaurant. As I said, it was a big thing for me was that camaraderie through the kitchen and that team environment. So I always wanted a relatively large team to work with. But yeah, I think it was seeing the space, and it's just like, well, let's have a crack. So we sort of put our, I guess, money where our mouth was, and went into it. But the vision I envisioned, and I probably shouldn't say this out loud, but there's a restaurant down in Brisbane called Echo that's run by a guy called Philip Johnson, and he's been operating now, just at a guess, I would say 30 years, maybe something like that.
Yeah.
And I really based the model off that, which was quite classic cuisine, just done very, very well.
Where else was Echo? Was that along the river?
Yeah, it was originally. I think it's now moved. But yeah, that was sort of my inspiration as a young guy. Like I remember that was one of the cookbooks that I'd always flick back to and go, look, that's just simple classic food. And that's what I wanted to produce, something that people knew the flavours wasn't too far out of their comfort zone and initially, because obviously we were new to town. I was only relatively young.
Yeah, and we're a small regional town, and we didn't have a really big restaurant scene, especially sort of 20, 30 years ago.
Yeah. It was pretty good, like in regards to classical cuisine, and that was pretty much how I thought, this is how I'll cut my teeth. Like I'll come in and everyone was doing Greek salads and like fried calamaris and stuff like that. And I thought, well, as opposed to just coming in and trying to be too cool or change stuff around, just try and make a nice Greek salad.
Yeah.
So then if someone comes to my place and goes, that was a really nice Greek salad, they have a comparative, to be like, okay, this guy maybe might not be too bad. So let's go back and see what he's done. And we've been lucky enough just to sort of, I guess, still be there, and realistically even sort of 3 or 4 years in to have a loyal enough clientele or adventurous enough clientele that would sort of trust us.
Yeah.
And that sort of built our confidence and then allowed me, I guess, to be a bit more creative and think maybe a little bit more outside the box.
Yeah. And then like thinking outside the box and going into like a second dwelling, like, because then you guys end up, with Salt Cellar, like not too long in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, big time.
Yeah, what was that like having two? Like, what made you go for two?
Chaotic. Is the first word that comes to mind. I think, but that rush of like creating a second space and
would have been exciting.
Oh, very exciting. Yeah. And we went in. I mean, we'd probably do it a little bit differently now. Like if we were to look back and sort of, I guess, reflect on it a little bit. We were quite young at that stage as well, and we were both sort of just pushing as sort of hard as we can.
Yeah.
We would have went a little bit of a different angle because we did stay with that sort of casual fine dining, which having two restaurants so close together was actually quite tough because you were sort of breaking up your own clientele to a certain degree and taking some of those across the river or vice versa. But no, fantastic. I was working a lot, crazy amount. Everyone was, but to operate two was just good fun. Like the memories that I have, like I'd be at one kitchen at one stage and it's like, okay, I like the chaos of a kitchen.
Yeah.
So I'd be in one space and it's like, okay, these guys are having a bit of an issue or a struggle, so let's flick over there.
Yeah, you go across the bridge and then
I'd jump over the other one.
Yeah.
I mean, as I said, like that's a silly way to operate, like realistically. And if I was to do it again now, I'd be like, okay, head chef or executive chef there, executive chef here, or whatever you're doing, let's liaise.
Yeah.
But, mate, young and dumb. Know what I mean?
Yeah, just having a crack.
Yeah, having
just
a crack.
Seeing how it's going to work.
Yeah, without a doubt. Adrenaline's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, 100%. And now I think with even AI and things like that, you could go work out menus, or you probably wouldn't be wastage and things like that.
No, that's right.
You could work out, okay, well, we're using this.
Exactly. I mean, I use AI as a critique. Like I'll write a menu or I'll write a dish and I'll plug it into AI to get it to critique the dish. And initially I was a bit like, man, I'm a qualified chef. Like, know what I mean? Like, why do I need to... Why am I getting reassurance from AI? But then once I sat back and reflected on it, I'm like, mate, that's actually pretty good advice coming back to me, like in critiquing the dishes and stuff like that. So I do punch it in as a cookbook or a tool, realistically.
Yeah, it's a really good tool.
Yeah, very much so.
Great tool.
Yeah, very much.
Yep.
That's probably where your questions come from.
Oh, yeah. Some of them.
Yeah.
Plug them all in. Like I get a bit of a vibe, like what all the stuff that I want to ask you, that sort of stuff. And then I plugged it in and then it spat out like a couple. And then you look at them and you go, well, hey, I like that one. I don't like that one. Scrub that. Right. And then just go again.
It just saves you so much time.
Oh, so much time.
You know, that's the thing.
Like you doing it with the meals. We just made a chat GPT today. We put like the last 50 of my advertisements sort of into it.
Yeah.
So when a new house comes on, we can plug that in and put all the unique features and we'll say write an advertisement like Matt does.
Yep.
And it did it. And then we just did this like a couple of minutes ago just before you came in.
Yep.
And it worked. And I was reading it and going, I would say that. I would say that. Yep. That's very similar.
I've done the same thing where I've said write a wine dinner menu, like to pair with wines in the theme of a touch of salt style cuisine. And I found, like I'm reading through it and I'm like, there's lots of like Australian natives and things like that, which we do use. But I'm like, oh, wow, that's a pretty good... that impression that is out there of that electronic sort of idea is that we're very... I guess, native Australian focused,
Yeah.
which I thought was quite interesting.
Yeah, well, a lot of produce you would be.
We
especially.
we do, yeah, we do.
Yeah.
I just find it interesting. I mean, that's different for us. That's probably the only real thing that differentiates Australian cuisine to every other cuisine in the world is the unique products like the native herbs and spices and things like that you can't get anywhere else in the world.
Yeah.
We're called modern Australian. Everyone calls themselves modern Australian restaurants. Technically, that just means you can do whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you can pull
there's no real label.
No, you can pull a little bit from Italy. We don't have those.
Because we're not Italian or we're not French, we're not Asian.
No,
We've
we're
got a
very
little bit of everything.
multicultural. No, what I mean? And I think that's the big, and we don't have like a big identity in the food scene. It's coming along. Like every restaurant that you look at now throughout the world operates how Australian restaurants did 30 years ago with that take. It's just produce driven. You know what I mean? Yeah.
And I think that's one of the things about being a chef or restaurants that people look to is like the romance of being a chef, like going to the markets in the morning, like picking the fruit, picking the
honestly, that is, you feel like as a chef, you feel alive in that situation.
Yeah.
And as you know, like I've just been down to Adelaide, was in the Adelaide Central Markets there.
Yeah, that's one of the best markets in Australia.
It's lovely. And the thought was like, oh man, if my restaurant was just around the corner and I could just get up here every day, come down, pick exactly what I wanted and then just take it back to the restaurant. So, and I mean, I grow a lot of stuff as well. And I think chefs or foodies or whatever you want to call them, I think there's a horticultural angle or there's definitely a nature's angle that they love and adore. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's something authentic about
there is.
growing your own food and cooking it and preparing it, especially just even if it's just for your family at home. Like,
well, that's the thing. Yeah, and I mean, it's the same ethos when you meet like a farmer or a producer. It's the same scenario. Like if you get some lamb from a producer and you've had a conversation with that guy and they're telling you the processes and how passionate they are with their product,
it gives you
then you're like, oh man, that's a big responsibility from now my perspective as a chef to take back to my kitchen and like treat this lovingly and send it out to the customers so they appreciate all the work he's done to it or they've done to it. You know what I mean? So yeah, we're pretty fortunate, I think.
And I think the customers too, they'll appreciate the story behind it. Like if whoever is out front of like house talking about that, they could say, oh, this comes from this paddock, this is from out
that's
here.
What it is. That shows the ethos of a restaurant. Like I've always been a little bit, I don't write sort of labels on my restaurant, like where the fish comes from or because I'm a bit of a believer, like the stuff should be local. Yeah. Like I shouldn't have to write local pumpkin or local, you know what I mean? Like in regards to every restaurant should realistically be trying to source as much stuff as they can locally. So to write it on the menu, like why do you need to write it?
Yeah, and sometimes it's just like a filler word on the menu. It's just to make it.
Yeah, it's a little extra marketing or, without a doubt. Hashtag.
Hashtag local. I think one of the best experiences I had at a restaurant, it would be Aria.
Yeah, lovely. Yeah,
Matt Moran's one on Brisbane there. Yeah. And it was everything. Like it was from when we sort of walked in, you were greeted at the front door and he said, look, we're getting the table ready and we'll just, table was probably ready 50 minutes ago. But like grab a chair at the bar, that kind of thing.
Made to feel special.
Yeah, and one of the guys we're with, because there was four of us there and I said, what do you want to drink? And he just wanted a Bundy. And the guy behind the counter said, I don't even know if it's on the menu. But he just made a joke and said, look, we don't have it on the menu. But look, we keep it down the back under a milk crate where the guys on their break over to smoke at the back. So we'll go get you one.
Of course they would have kept it. Queensland.
Yeah. So they went and got that for him. Just little things like that.
Exactly.
But it was a really...
Well, they're the things you remember.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's that experience. Like, you can produce a beautiful plate of food or whatever, but the experience is more than that. You know what I mean? It's like that initial greeting at the restaurant or how it's finished at the restaurant or how you're made to feel. So it's a big responsibility. A restaurant's putting on a show every night. You know what I mean? It's opening the doors at 5 o'clock. It's getting everything prepared.
It'd be hard. I think it'd be frustrating for a chef that puts all their work into everything at the back and then suddenly like a little 16-year-old at the front counter just screwed it up for the customer or something like that.
Mate, that's life. You know what I mean? I find cooking or the food's bit interesting in regards to you spend all day creating something and making something and then it just gets demolished in 5 minutes.
Yeah, you poke your head out the front.
Yeah. It's like, oh, Jesus, what I've created is no longer there. So it's back to the drawing board, you know what I mean? So, But, mate, mistakes and things like that happen. But, it depends on the restaurant. We're a little bit more probably relaxed in that aspect. But if you're in a 3 Michelin star restaurant, and that happens at the front, that expectation of the customer is gone. You know what I mean? So you don't expect that. So we probably get a little bit more leeway or get away with a little bit, I guess, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
But I think that sort of stuff would happen.
Yeah. I heard Will Guidara speak not too long ago.
Yeah, impressive.
He's impressive.
Yeah, very much.
Yeah,
well, I call Mark Will Guidara.
Yeah.
Again. Yeah, he appreciates it.
I'll have to call him that next time we see him.
Yeah, he probably will appreciate it.
Mark Guidara.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, you're talking about the icon, probably the icon in the industry.
100%.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. And just that, what was it? The unrealistic, his book. I can't,
Yeah,
it's
that
just
he's
lost me.
brought out.
Yeah. Just about the level of service.
Well,
the things
exactly.
that
You follow him on Instagram as well?
Yeah.
He's pretty inspirational.
Did you hear the hot dog story?
No.
He's got this.
Where they've gone out to the cart and got the
Yeah, got him a hot dog because that was the last thing that they the people like they were big foodies that happened to be in his restaurant. And then he overheard him talking as he was collecting plates from the table behind or something like that. And they said, if we've been to, and they named like the top 5 restaurants in New York. He said, but the one thing we hadn't had yet was like a hot dog from the corner.
Yeah. So he went and got one.
He went and got one.
Yeah.
He got his chef to prepare it, cut up into 5 pieces and put a bit of sauce on it, gave him to a plate, and that was like the trip. And that's
funny,
all they
that's
sort of
made him.
That made it. That made their trip to New York.
Well, it's those funny little aspects. Like we get some people in the restaurant every now and again ask for a cheese platter, and I don't always stock cheese. Sometimes I'll have some cheeses, sometimes I don't. So our joke is every now and again just to take out a bag of grated mozzarella, pop it on the table, and they're like, "What the?" But again, we get lots of laughs, and there's all those
that'd be funny.
tricks and quirks. Yeah, exactly right.
Yeah, it's
fun.
Yeah, just having a bit of fun with the customers, and customers enjoy that.
That's good.
Agree. So what with it so what did it feel like, I guess, for you winning your first big, like your chef's hat? Because your chef's hat is like for Australia, because we don't have the Michelin stars here.
No, we don't have Michelin stars. Our rating system is chef's hats.
It's chef's hats.
Yeah, which is of course sort of unusual. I think everyone throughout the world is all Michelin stars. But, mate, chuffed. But it was more so for, like, it's not a one-man show.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, like, in regards to, it's like a team winning a trophy, I guess, at the end of the day. Like, I was more proud of the team and what we'd, I guess, created. Yeah, I drove it, I guess, in regards to menu writing and made sure the execution, everything was done and the consistency was correct. But they are very much...
Is it based on the experience as well?
Yeah, it's based on both. Like the chef's hat's based on both the actual food and the service. We're a little bit more. It's probably a bit harder up here, I would say, to get them regionally. Just in regards to, you may get an inspector come through just once. So whereas if you're in a bigger city, you get an inspector go through a couple of times. So you have sort of a couple of cracks to show that consistency.
Yeah.
And I mean, you're in a restaurant, you're operating, every day of the night. Not every meal that leaves is going to be perfect. You know what I mean? Not every meal that leaves is going to be a chef hat quality, unfortunately. That's just... Do
you hear if they're going to be in the shop, or is it just only random?
No, just on the random. So there was no idea in regards to who they are or when they come in. Or you have a rough idea once the review comes out, because you can...
Sort of backtrack and go,
we change our menu relatively regularly, so you can sort of be like, oh, okay, well, they had that in this 3-month time frame. So there was a patch there where we thought they come through from sort of like October to November, and it's like, all right, let's make sure we're on our game for the next 2 months. Know what I mean? But I never set out to like achieve awards or anything like that, to be totally honest. Things like that, if they come along, it's definitely a feather in the cap and definitely like a bonus. But I think if you're chasing hats or if you're chasing stars and stuff like that all the time, I think you're never satisfied, because you're always like constantly like trending or changing things or adjusting. I think if you just stay sort of true to your form, or like what you know and what you want to do, if you do it consistently and well enough, then those type of achievements will come.
Yeah, they'll just come. And I think a lot of that's to do with the intuition too. If you're not changing your menus all the time and things like that, or chasing something, you're just going with the flow of what feels right.
Yeah, that's the thing.
They'll come.
Yeah, and I mean, your kitchens and that fluctuate as well. Like there's aspects where you might have different people on shift or like different people through the kitchen. So, mate, there's lots of different aspects to achieving one and not achieving one. You know what I mean? But the feeling was, very, very good. I didn't I'm pretty calm, as you said, so I didn't sort of show it too much in front of everyone. But when I got home, I cracked open the champagne. Let's just say that. You know what I mean? Yeah. Well, we went down to Brisbane and we actually went to Philip Johnson's restaurant, Echo. And me and Mark, we weren't invited. We won a hat down on the when we were down there. So we went up and got our hat in that type of scenario. But then the after party was at Philip Johnson's restaurant.
Oh, wow.
And we weren't invited to it, but we got talking to a coffee rep. And he's like, oh, come to the after party. And we're like, oh, we were chuffed. We, a couple of champagnes down. We thought we were bloody superheroes. So we've rocked up to this after party and the guy on the front door, and we told him our names, and he's like, oh, no, sorry, you guys aren't allowed in. So we're like, oh, you're joking. So we just sat out the front for a bit, and then the coffee rep seen us and took us in there. So I think that was a fantastic night because, as I said, like Philip Johnson, who I sort of was
look up to.
Yeah, look up to big time, and was someone that I sort of modelled our restaurant off a little bit to get to meet him and sort of have a chat with him, and it was a great night. I probably enjoyed that more than the chef hat, to be honest.
Oh, that would be amazing. It would be, meeting heroes like that, and just lovely. Especially if they turn out to be great people.
Yeah, he was, very much so. Yeah, no.
Oh wow! And have you kept in contact with him? Like, no, not after that.
My name.
No, you don't know that.
No, I don't know that. I'll call him later. I'll flick him up. He'll be on here next week. You know what I mean?
100%.
Yeah, it was good fun.
Yeah. Oh, awesome. So, and with Touch Salt, you guys did a few other things like, with the food festivals like Beef and Brossa.
Yep.
I don't think anyone else was doing that just yet.
No, and I mean that the space where we're at like is very good. Like you've got those stairs out the front that's somewhat of an amphitheatre, and it's very conducive to music and stuff like that.
Yeah, you can have a band up there, and you can sort of block it off.
Yeah, without a doubt. Yeah. And it was also just something different for us. Like we started, I think the first one we done was a Taste of Tassie, I think was the first one we done, and it kicked off with about 200 people. And then we just changed the themes. We went sort of regions to start with, as you said, Beef and Brossa. We done South Australia, but then we sort of went Italy. So we've changed like a few different themes. We've done a seafood one. I think the biggest one we done was the Italian festival. We ended up with 780 people there. Wow. So yeah.
How do you serve food for 780?
Who knows? I think we're still serving.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That'd be like 1,000 beers.
That
would be ridiculous.
It was intense. And we sort of scaled it back from that one a little bit, and the sort of number that we stopped at was about that 600 mark.
Yeah, it's
was sort of comfortable enough to, you know what I mean? It was still pretty full on, but just a great vibe.
Yeah,
like just lost one of those days. You know what I mean?
It wouldn't feel like work.
No, it was
be fun.
It was fun. You know, once like outside food wise is a little stressful to start with, but once it's kicked off and everything's flowing out, then it's fun. You sort of walk around, you're looking at everyone and the vibe.
And a couple of days prior, that would be full on. Like when you're prepping, getting all that sort of stuff ready.
Yeah. Well, I normally have probably about 5 guys in the kitchen.
Yeah.
At one of the festivals, at the prep of it up, I had 13 guys in there. You know what I mean? So just getting ready and preparing, and crazy.
Oh yeah. And then once it hits, it's just it's fun.
Yeah, very much. But no, they're a great showcase for the middle of the city as well. You know what I mean? To have that sort of space. There's areas around there where you could flick out, like out onto the big grass patch and that type of scenario.
Yeah.
But no, I don't think. Like we were running that festival by ourselves, like in regards to just us as a single business. So I think there's been festivals in the past where it might be a collaboration with about 4 or 5 different businesses that do bits and pieces. And we sort of thought, well, let's just take it on. You know what I mean? Yeah. We can get that consistency.
And that would give all those customers too a bit of a taste for what you guys are about.
Yeah.
And they'll all come back with their friends and family.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Yeah, they were obviously good for us as a business in regards to like sales and everything like that. But the main aspect of it was the marketing aspect behind it. You know what I mean? It was huge.
Oh, you couldn't buy that sort of advertising.
No, it was fantastic. We'll have to get another one kicking off.
We'll have to.
Yeah, we were meant to do one this weekend actually for our 20th anniversary, but we decided, no, we're going to take it easy. We'll probably just drink champagne by ourselves.
Oh. It'd be hard, like being a chef like that. Do you have like favorite like champagnes and wines and all that sort of thing? Or
I think there's so many different things out there on the market that I very probably rarely drink the same thing or eat the same thing twice.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? I like to experiment and try different things and changes and that type of scenario. So, but at the same aspect, I don't really go to someone's house and critique their food or, you know what I mean? I'm not that type of dude. Yeah.
No, I wouldn't think you would be. No. I didn't even have that as a question. I don't think. But all right, now that you've mentioned it.
Now that you've mentioned it, what's the worst meal you've ever had? No, I'm joking.
Yeah. But it'd be hard to cook for you, I guess.
No, far from it.
No,
far from it. I think that perception of chefs that it's hard to cook for, it's not true. But I think the other aspect, if you have a chef that you're cooking for him and he pipes up and says that he doesn't like the meal, that guy's got issues.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's something wrong with that person. Yeah. Like for someone to create a meal and to lovingly serve you the meal, and even if it's terrible in a home format or just relax, eat it, wash it down with a Bundy. Yeah.
100%. Yeah. Just calm down.
Yeah, just relax a little bit.
Yeah. Hey, going back to because all those sort of successful sort of things, but then when COVID happened, like one of the things you guys did that really stood out for me because we did it was one of the boxes. They cook like a pro.
Yeah.
I thought that was such a good idea.
Yeah, it was clever.
Yeah, it was really good. So we did that. I think the one we had was a ramen one. Yeah, went home, cooked it up. It was great. Yeah. And I think we went back to get another one day, and it had sold out or something. That would. Yeah. So popular.
Yeah, we did. I think we'd done about 6 of them in total. And we would just produce, I think the first one we made maybe like 20 boxes or something like that. Yeah. And these were just little initiatives and little things to keep our guys, busy. And
it was hard because you couldn't eat out.
No, you couldn't eat out. And I didn't want to lose anyone. We had a strong team and obviously it was like, no one deserved to not be working or lose a job or whatever it was. So we just created other bits and pieces. But the cook like a pro stuff, it was good fun. I think one we done mud crabs. So I got I got 30 mud crabs from a supplier down in Ingham. So he was catching them and brought them up and it was successful. And then the following week I ordered 40 more. So it's like, he's like, what are you doing? You know what I mean? Because obviously COVID was
no one else
everyone and no one was getting bits and pieces. And the thing was, some of these, like he mainly supported down south, you know what I mean? So once that sort of avenue shut down, then
he would have been
probably
worried
appreciative of, the local guys up here using the products. So, but no, they were good. And that kept us busy. I mean, we put all the prep together, put it in a polystyrene box with a set of instructions, but also a clip to a YouTube. That I would produce through the day. So I had my head chef at the time, Starkey, we called him. Yeah. He was doing the video. It wasn't quite as set up as this. It was on a little hand phone. And he would just take the video while I was pretty much prepping it, you know what I mean, talking about it. And I think people just we were lucky that people appreciated us having a crack, I think. And I think that local support, and because we'd been around for a while as well, we had a pretty steady local clientele and loyal clientele, and those guys pulled us through COVID. Yeah, you know what I mean? They could have quite easily just gone out and got the produce and made their own dinner, or you know what I mean. And it was fun. It's like a great. It was creative.
It was like eating out at home.
Exactly.
It was really cool.
Exactly. Yeah. But the support we got from everyone was quite humbling actually. Yeah, when you think back about it. Yeah, very much so. Yeah, so thanks for buying one of those. How did you go? Did you follow the recipe?
No, we just...
you cheeky.
No, but it worked out really well. It still worked out really good.
Yeah, obviously you can...
not that well, but I think that's one of the things that I was only speaking about before that. I think if for some reason, I don't know, I would love to know how to cook properly. Yeah. Like if there was like, not like a cooking school or things like that, but like if there was like a, I don't know, like a mini apprenticeship or a year or something like that where you could go to a couple of hours, learn how to like use a knife properly, like learn how to cut your veggies properly.
It's a skill that's beneficial in all aspects of life.
Everything.
Yeah. Like in regards to like if you're a young university student or something like that and you know how to cook, how to shop realistically, what produce to buy and what
What goes with what?
Yeah, you don't need to spend too much money to create a dish, or as you said, that flavour comparisons, or you know what I mean? I think everyone's interested in food. It's one of the things that everyone does. Everyone eats, everyone cooks, you know what I mean? So to have a little bit of knowledge, it's super beneficial.
Super beneficial, especially for if you're at uni and things like that, and you're living off beans and
Exactly.
like 2-minute noodles and that sort of thing. It's not that much extra to go and make a nice meal.
No, that's the thing. And
put it
even
together.
with the 2-minute noodles, you can go funk it up and get some fresh produce and punch it through.
Oh yeah, throw that in there, get a bit of mushroom and stuff in there. Yeah.
So there's heaps of other bits and pieces. But I think a lot of people would be like that little extracurricular if they had 3 hours a week or whatever it is to spend.
Just to
with
know a
professional
little bit
chefs
more.
or-
Just to pair it up, pair some flavorings, know what goes
and
what.
I mean, it's more beneficial when it's hands-on, like when you're actually in a kitchen and you're working with other people and doing bits and pieces. Yeah, you can watch YouTube clips and cooking shows and all that type of jazz, but it's much better to get that inside knowledge or direct.
So much more. Just to be able to talk. So, hey, does this go? Why do you do this? Or a bit of interaction.
So what do you reckon?
learn
Some cooking classes on the cards?
Oh, it could be.
Huh? I might have to get a bit of a group together.
If you do it, I'm in.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I'd sign up.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, 100%. So what then after? I guess getting back to chefing stuff, like when the chef out of water thing that you did, because how long ago was that?
It's still going.
That's still going.
Yeah, it's still going. That kicked off a few years before COVID, and then it was ramping up, and then COVID sort of put a bit of a standstill on it for a while because Chris Holan, who's the American chef, who pretty much kicked off Chef Out of Water.
Because that's like an exchange program.
Without a doubt. So he kicked it off, him and a guy called Simon Milcock, which is where I've just been down in Adelaide. So that's still, Chef Out of Water is still doing bits and pieces. But COVID affected it quite heavily because obviously he's American and he was in Astoria at the time. So it sort of shut travel down because we just made some pretty heavy links through China because we've been over there 2 times the previous year, and then it closed it down to a certain degree, but it's still kicking along.
It's still going.
Yeah. So I've been fortunate enough to, I didn't do Chef Out of Water with South Korea, but that's how it all kicked off. I went to South Korea with the Townsville City Council. Yeah. Got sent over there to do a cooking festival with our sister city called Sawon. So I was over there for about a week and took another chef with me. And then we went the following year. And that's where I met Simon, who got that contact with the Chef Out of Water with Chris in the States. And then from there, I went to his restaurant and cooked over there. So I flew, pretty much got there on the day. We wrote a menu on the day. So I just got off the plane, we wrote a menu and started cooking and executing it the next day. And then he came here. And then we've been to China a couple of times. He's been to Iceland. So, we've met a whole bunch of international chefs through it. And that's the idea, getting Chef Out of Water, getting out of your comfort zone, exactly what you were talking about before. Yeah. It's pulling a chef out of their kitchen, their day-to-day life, and where they're not, you might get a bit mundane.
Or you comfortable.
Get a bit comfortable. You get a bit mundane. You sort of lack a little bit of inspiration and, you know what I mean? Once you've written 20 menus, you start losing ideas, or it's like, okay, what can we do? Where are we headed? So to sort of get out and work in another kitchen and meet other chefs.
That would, it'd be a light.
It reinvigorates you. Yeah, definitely. I feel every time I come back from a trip like that, I feel a lot lighter and I feel a lot more like, okay, let's...
More ideas.
Yeah, more ideas.
Yeah.
And also, it's pretty good for your own confidence as well, because you sort of realise, okay, we're in this relatively small regional town. Not small regional town, we're in a regional town. You head out to some of the bigger cities throughout the world or whatever like that, and you think, how am I as a chef? But then when you realise, actually not too bad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You can cut it with some of the other guys and you're doing bits and pieces.
Yeah, because you do want to compete. You want to know that you're at the top level.
Exactly right. And it's good. You create that sort of respect with other guys and you build that network.
Yeah.
And I still keep in contact with pretty much everyone I've done all of those events with. And, Yeah, they're just super funky. They're always come in from a charity angle. The last one we went to Vietnam, Cambodia and Malaysia. And we worked with a company in Cambodia called Spoons that's they work with underprivileged children. Last year they put through 75 children in like a hospitality course. So it's a year hospitality course. They take them out of like regional Cambodia, or they come in from regional Cambodia and teach them all the basic skills from basic English all the way through to cooking, hospitality.
They'll have that for life.
They'll have that for life, yeah. So, and they're the sort of things that like Chef Out of Water's opened up, you know what I mean? And you feel like when you do those sort of things and do a little bit of charity work and sort of see the smiles on people's faces, it gives you like something else.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
It's like you're doing the right thing.
Yeah,
or you're on the right track.
Exactly. Yeah, that's how it feels. So yeah, I've been very fortunate to do that, but again, it's like I think it's just saying yes to things. Like in regards to if opportunities like that come up, and you could quite easily say no and think, oh, okay, well, and then regret it later on and think, well, what could have happened or what would have that have been? You know what I mean? So yeah, I just said yes from the start and then just went with it.
Yeah, well, you said yes to this. So.
Yeah, well, mate, exactly. Yeah, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think there's a lot to be said in that, just saying yes for things and working it out as you go.
Yeah.
You don't know what opportunities are around the corner and what small little door is going to open up a big door.
Yeah.
And I think, because in my world, like the real estate world, like it's a pretty tight network like that. There's everyone sort of knows each other, but I'd assume that the chef world's pretty similar.
Oh, exactly the
like
same.
probably even smaller.
Yeah.
Like the
well, it is. Like everyone knows everyone, and everyone in the town has been in the town for a fair time. Like the guys at the top of their restaurants, like the head chefs of all the restaurants, they've been running these restaurants for a long time.
Yeah.
Know what I mean? So, yeah, we all know of each other. There's a respectful...
like a mutual respect.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Yeah.
Big time. Yeah.
Yeah.
From what I can tell, no one's sent me any hate mail through Instagram yet or anything. Maybe after this, we'll see.
We'll see.
We'll see.
We'll see. I'll let you know.
Yeah.
So how would you describe your food like philosophy? Like going what?
I find my food philosophy sort of changes. I like to find new products. I really like the sourcing of things. I like to sort of meet the people that were providing our food type scenario. But I also like to pick the brains of like our chefs, you know what I mean? And more so like our head chefs that I've had with us in the past. I've had a lot of different nationalities through the kitchens. So my philosophy or food philosophy is just trying to keep it probably fun and interesting.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily drive towards any particular cuisine or anything like that. I just try to create a space in our kitchen that's relatively creative and sort of run it a bit more like a university than a primary school in regards to people can have opinions and views and change things and bring their sort of ideas.
Yeah,
to
you're
the
all
party.
adults in there. It's not.
Yeah, it's not just me. Like I can't say I've ever really worked in a kitchen where it's the chef and it's like, this is my recipe, it has to be like this, it has to be, which I think I've been relatively fortunate. My apprenticeship and traineeship has been pretty organic.
Yeah, because that's what you see in the movies sometimes.
Yeah, you do. And I'm a little bit like, and even I'll have wait staff and things like that come through from a European nationality, and they're a bit more stringent in regards to how they want stuff. And okay, when you put this down on the table, the leaf needs to be facing the customer like this. So I'll get these questions, and I'm like, man, I don't care where the leaf faces. You know what I mean? Like if the customer, 9 times out of 10, you're going to take a photo of it anyway. You know what I mean? So
and they'll probably move it to whatever angle they
move it to whatever angle you want the leaf on. So I've always been a bit more organic in that aspect, and I think probably running the kitchen's the same. It may freak some people out that it's not as structured as maybe they would expect. You know what I mean? But yeah, we're creative. It's a creative space. So yeah, I think food philosophy, mate, work with what's best.
Yeah.
You know, like as far as what's in season, like if you're working with stuff out of season, then you're not so smart.
Yeah, well,
You know what I mean?
yeah, it doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense to anyone. It's obviously not coming from anywhere near here, and you'll be paying a premium for it. So my food philosophy is probably just a very simple one. Work with things when they're in season. Be creative with them. Treat them with love. Treat them quite simply, really.
Yeah. So it's working with the seasons, that really does dictate the menu a lot of the times.
Without a doubt. Yeah, we'll write a menu, and I mean, I'm not a horticulturalist, so I don't pinpoint when something's going to run out. I have a relatively close relationship with our suppliers that will tell me, okay, persimmons have finished.
Yeah.
And I'll be like, oh shit. Know what I mean? So then it's like I have to change the menu item or...
Yeah.
So and there's certain products that we'll get because as I said, I like to use things that are unique, or at least some parts of the dish may be something that's unique, and they might only have a season of 3 or 4 weeks.
Yeah, so sometimes when it is in that like peak season, you can make a dish around like that.
And then once it's gone, it's gone.
It's
know what I mean? So that's
pretty cool. That's exciting.
It is exciting. It's exciting, and it's also probably hard at the same time. Like, it's pretty easy if you're using the exact same stuff all the time, and you get that consistency, and everyone knows what they're doing.
Yeah.
But to sort of throw a couple of spanners in the works, but I'm trying to create chefs. This is our industry. You know what I mean? We've been in the industry for a long time, and we'll plan on being in the industry for a long time to come. So my plan or my goal is to inspire and educate chefs.
The next generation of chefs to come through.
Is to educate creative chefs to push the boundaries and push to the next level, and knock a touch of salt and knock the other restaurants off the table as to be the best restaurant in Townsville. That's my aim.
Ooh.
You know what I mean?
That's a good aim.
Well, that's a good aim. I'll keep
it's
it.
A bit of
if
competition.
I'll send it south or something. You know what I mean? I'm like, mate, you're a bit too
you should go open. Yeah, you should go work at Echo.
Don't open next door. Yeah. But that's the aim. I think that's everyone's aim, isn't it? At the end of the day, to progress the city, to progress the town, to progress whatever industry you're in.
Yeah, I think we've got a great little town, and everyone seems to do that. Everyone wants our town to be better.
Yeah. And now, we're still young in the food scene, I think, like our town. You know what I mean? We're pretty lucky that we can try things here. But a lot of people travel. Like, a lot of people go to the bigger cities and then come back, and we get a lot of compliments. You know what I mean? And I'm assuming a lot of the better restaurants in town probably do, in regards that we do bat above our weight.
Oh, yeah.
That we're sort of, we get a lot of people that come in and it's like, oh, that was lovely. And I'm from Melbourne. And it's like, wow. No,
yeah. And Melbourne's like the foodie capital of Australia.
It is. Yeah. But sometimes it's like, well, regional's doing okay too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, thank you for what you believe that to be a compliment. But we know what we're doing up here. And you know what I mean? There's a lot of restaurants that are pushing the boundaries and creating nice food and comparable, if not better, than some of the big cities throughout Australia. So,
100%. Yeah. And talking about like leadership qualities, how do you balance your like leadership and creativity? Because sometimes it's a hard balance, because part of you wants to be creative, and the other part, like you sort of got to lead as well.
Like, we are chefs, you know what I mean? So that leadership aspect, I've always sort of like led from the front, realistically. But I wasn't taught to be a leader. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, I was taught to be a chef. I've been creative from an early age, I guess, drawing and things like that, which probably led me into this creative industry. But the leader aspect of it, I think I've sort of, as I said, like, led from the front. I'll be the first to sort of get in there and do the dirty jobs, if that makes any sense. I'd prefer to do the dirty jobs and let my team do the creative stuff. You know what I mean? And sort of stand back. I'm at the position now, or sort of age now and position within the restaurant, where I can stand back and sort of
just watch a little
bit. Just sort of guide a little bit. And I mean, I've got guys that are coming through that are more creative than I probably was, you know what I mean? So I sort of look at it from a leadership restaurant owner's perspective, that I've got sort of parameters to sort of stay in. And, you know what I mean? I'm happy to push boundaries, but if I've got 8 dishes on the menu that are pushing all the boundaries, I'm probably not going to have too many people in the restaurant. You know what I mean? So you've got to sometimes,
it's a balance.
It's a balance. You want to be heavily creative, but you've also got to keep some things up your sleeve. And remember that you still need to have like a steak on your menu, or you still need to have like a chicken dish.
Yeah, well, there's nothing like just a good steak, I think. And sometimes you just really feel like
Yeah, and that's the thing. And you've got to be smart enough to realise, like, your clientele, who you're creating for. We're lucky that our clientele is predominantly local, you know what I mean? And we have a lot of regular customers. So I've got a responsibility to those guys to, be creative somewhat, but also to create a dish that sometimes they're just coming out for dinner.
Yeah.
They don't want to be challenged, or they don't want to be, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and you can have one or two of them on there because you'll see that dish and go, wow, I wasn't thinking about having that, but it sounds pretty good.
Yeah, and that's the thing. But I mean, we're considered somewhat of a special occasion restaurant, but we don't want to be that. Like, we want to be the restaurant that people are coming to,
regularly,
once a week, or regularly. Yeah, that's our aim as a business.
Yeah, because I think you guys coined the phrase, the casual fine dining.
That gave us room, I think, in regards to if we didn't quite come off as fine. No, we're relaxed. We're a casual fine dining venue. But our restaurant's different. It's got a sort of two areas. It's got the alfresco area that's outside that is that more casual feel. It has more casual furniture. The vibe out there is more chilled. And then you've got inside, which is probably a little bit more of that fine dining side. It's got the comfort of the seats and all that type of scenario. But our food, people think that if you're creative with your food, then it's considered fine dining. You know what I mean? Like, if you use a couple of little fresh herbs or things like that on the food as garnish, or if your food has garnish on it, or if you don't have to go to the counter to get your food, it's considered fine dining. I didn't like the term fine dining, and I've always been like, oh, look, we're not fine dining. You know what I mean? Because I have worked in fine dining restaurants where the waiters are wearing white gloves and there's a
really white tablecloths.
It's like, and it's, people get nervous in that environment. And I mean, I'm a chef and I'm fine with sitting at a restaurant like that.
Especially if you haven't been in there a lot, like as a customer, you'd be, oh, what do I order? What do I say?
That's the thing. And I don't, like, our aim is to make the customer feel comfortable. Yeah. Like, I don't want a customer to come into my restaurant, sit on the table, look at 4 sets of different size forks and 4 sets of different size knives and be stressed or concerned if they look like an idiot because they're using the wrong knife. I don't care if they don't use the knife. The bread comes out, pick it up with your fingers, mate. You know what I mean? Like, put it in your mouth, enjoy, savour the flavours. Like, it's not that pompousness, and it's not pompous, it's refinement or whatever you want to call it. You know what I mean? I think that's unnecessary.
Yeah, and it's probably got a place.
For us anyway, for our restaurant, I think that's unnecessary. There's a place, without a doubt there's a place. But that's why we sort of went, well, we're not fine dining. Like, I understand there's aspects that you may believe that because we're creative and we make everything in the restaurant from scratch, and our service is like efficient, welcoming. We'll fill your
and it's a high standard.
Yeah, we'll fill your water glasses, and you know what I mean.
But the food's a very high standard too.
Yeah.
So
it is fine dining, and you've coined the phrase casual fine dining with North Queensland.
I like it. I think it's a really good phrase because it is. You can go in there with I don't know, and our weather's quite hot sometimes, and especially on a Friday if you want to wear shorts.
Mate, that's the thing. You're not going to get who's wearing a suit on on a Friday night in December.
Yeah, you just want to be comfortable and you want to have a nice meal.
That's what it is.
You don't want to feel weird about it.
You don't want to look out into a restaurant. You got some guy like just sweating bullets.
Yeah.
On a first date with his wife.
He's nervous as it is anyway.
What fork to use. Yeah. It's like, champion, just relax, settle down. Yeah. We'll bring you out a Bundy. Know what I mean?
Yeah, and
we'll steal it from the chefs.
Yeah.
But that's pretty much what it is. Yeah. Bit more casual, bit more relaxed, bit more North Queensland.
Yeah.
But I think that, I don't think we coined the phrase, but I think that phrase has probably been taken up a lot by a lot of restaurants. And I think even the best restaurants through Australia, I don't really think they consider themselves or want to be portrayed as fine dining restaurants, to be honest.
Yeah, I think because culture is a bit more casual now. Yeah, you've got that place, but I think everything's a little bit more casual.
Yeah, it's not like, we don't wear chef jackets through the kitchen. A lot of the top restaurants in Australia at the moment, they're not wearing chef jackets. They're just wearing T-shirts. And I mean, that casual creative vibe has come into restaurants, you know what I mean? And it's been like the trend is, or I don't think it's a trend, I think it's something that will stay, is that open kitchens, so like customers can see what the chefs are up to, and that more natural aspect has come through. You're not looking into kitchens these days and everyone's in a pristine chef's whites and, tall hats and neckerchiefs and this type of aspect. They're in T-shirts. They got a bandana on. They got arm tattoos.
Yeah.
Know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's just who they are.
That's who they are.
Yeah,
It's
letting
creative.
them come
It's
through.
a creative industry. And I always say that. And yeah, okay, if you're working in a pub or something like that, you're not allowed to be as creative potentially as you would like to be. But if you're working in restaurants that are bringing in like different produce and working with different cuts and different herbs and growing different stuff and looking for unique products, then you can be as creative as you want to be. So yeah, definitely creative.
So when you are designing a dish like that, like how do you come up with the different flavors or textures or pairings? Like how do you?
It may start like I'll normally start with something like a sauce. Like I might have a look through and think, like I taste a sauce somewhere, I see a recipe for a sauce, or I really like that sauce. Yeah. And then I'm like, okay, what's going to go with that? Know what I mean? So like, for instance, our pork dish on the menu, it's a chamoy, which is like a Mexican-based, it's a drink normally that they turn into a sauce. So we've just created it, reduced the flavours down in that, which is like dried apricots, peppers, a little bit of chili, date reduced down. And I'm like, I really like that sauce. So now where can we go with that? But then I'll just stick with the theme. So I might do some research on that sauce itself and go, okay, this is sauces from regional Mexico. You know what I mean? And then look into that town. Okay, well, what else is around that town and what are they using? So then the same spice rub that is used for a classic Mexican pork dish, we'll create with our pork. And then I'm like, well, around our area, what are we doing? Like we're similar in sort of climates and stuff like that. We have a pineapple farm out Rolling Stone, so let's put some pineapple with it. Know what I mean? Yeah. So it just depends. I'll always start with an aspect of a dish.
Okay.
And then go from there. I try to stick, I guess, not culturally to that dish, I guess. So if I was to do like an Indian sauce, I'd stick with that sort of theme. Know what I mean?
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
It's dependent. But sometimes it could just be a product.
Yeah.
That'll go through.
Is there a local product at the moment that sort of sticks out that you're really enjoying using?
We've been using Living Aquaculture Red Claw. That's very good. And again, it's a very good product, but why I fell in love with the product was when I met the dudes making it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or the dudes selling it and producing it and that type of aspect, and seeing the passion and meeting, as I said before, that story, which sort of drove me to be like, okay, yeah, let's put this on, let's promote it and let's kick it off. But yeah, it's a lovely, lovely, lovely product. But yeah, there's been heaps in the past. I was using Backfatter's pork that used to be outside of Ingham up there in Forest Beach. So I was using their product for about 4 or 5 years. Those guys moved down to Sunshine Coast. And again, there's certain things I just wouldn't take off the menu for that reason. That one, it's a lovely product. Two, it's supporting the local industry as well. And there's been other things that people come in and they're having a crack. Some guy's made some honey, you know what I mean? And he brings it in and I'm like, mate, he goes, you want to put the honey on? It's like, yeah, why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, try it, see how it goes. There's always room for other stuff and experimenting. And we don't just do sole a la carte. We do like a lot of functions, a lot of wine dinners, a lot of sort of other aspects where bits and pieces can get used as well. So.
And with wines, like is there the classic rule of thumb where people go like red wine with steaks, that sort of stuff, right? But what should people look for? Like just average guy off the street, like you're pairing your meals. What
I would stick with that ethos just because you look like you know what you're talking about.
Yeah, okay.
You know what I mean? That'll just go left field. But we'll do wine dinners and we'll pair a lot of food with different wines. And I mean, they're always the classic pairings. You know, if it's a duck, it's like a Shiraz, or it's a deep wine with like plum.
Yeah, because it's a darker meat, so it's
chocolate flavorings and all stuff like this. So it all sounds good on paper, but I think we've done a lot of these wine dinners where you serve the food out, and by the fourth glass and the fourth course, mate,
they're not noticing.
Everything tastes great. Tastes beautiful together. Yeah. You know what I mean? So, mate, just order something, try it, see what it is, see how it goes. But I would stick with the rule of thumb, start with a lighter wine, with your first couple courses, whether or not it's seafood based or lighter styles, and then as you go deeper, start hitting your heavy stuff. But I mean, I would probably drink white wine all the way through personally. I mean, I like red wine as well, but if I'm out for dinner or something like that, I'd prefer to probably just stick with a white or share a bottle.
Oh yeah, yep. Yeah. Is there any funny combos that you've come across that would be like, I wasn't expecting that, but it's pretty good?
That as like it went together, you weren't expecting that? I've recently worked with Chef Bodie up from Brown Brothers, and like I've always, you taste wines like with food and stuff like that, and he was very good. He was like tasting a lot of the wines and sort of been, okay, well, this is quite acidic, so you need a bit more fat or something like this in addition, that type of aspect. So I did actually pick up, all right, when you do change the ratios of things, then you're pulling more notes or characteristics out of the wine. Yeah. So that was... and
that's a real thing. It's not just a marketing thing.
No, that's not a marketing thing. But there's two, like the easiest way for wine and food pairing is if, like, say there's characteristics in the wine and you accentuate those characteristics through the food. So if you've got like notes of blackberry or through the wine, then you might put blackberries through your sauce, through your dish or whatever it is. You know what I mean? The clever aspect is where you counteract it. So where it's got like, and it gets a bit more sort of technical and sciencey, whereas if they share a similar acid or something like that, then you'll counteract it with something salty or something. Yeah. You know what I mean? So that's a bit more intricate. And I think we do bits and pieces like that every now and again, but I think more out of fluke than tasting it. And mate, Mark's got a pretty tight rein on the wine cellar, so it only gives us a little bit of a taste. You know what I mean? We're only allowed a glass to taste as opposed to, well, we probably need a little bit more than a glass to taste.
Yeah, because you'd have to try a bottle to see if it...
Well, a little bit more than a glass.
Yeah, a little bit more than a glass.
Yeah.
So how's the Australian palate changed in the last 10 years?
A lot more educated. Yeah. But at the same aspect, I think it just comes with travel. It comes with probably the internet and research and people cooking in their own homes, and you can travel the world through your kitchen. Like you'll be cooking a Thai dish one night, you'll be cooking an Indian dish the next night. So I think people have just got a lot more adventurous. I think gone are the days where it was your like steak and 3 veg or whatever it is, like growing up type of aspect. Definitely up here, I think it's got a little bit lighter style. I know that we've always been heavily meat orientated up here, but I see that changing. I see that sort of lightening up a little bit, and not as such large portions. Or I think people have...
I've even like seen that change in my house, because like even with Instagram and things like that, like I've been doing a lot of lighter pastas without heavy sauces, just like olive oil and it's a couple of herbs and some chili and things.
You feel a lot better.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And it tastes like fresh. It's great.
So I think that's the thing. I think people like to taste more. So it's not just one dish. As you said, you might create 3 different little dishes and that's your dinner. You know what I mean? So you're pulling a sharing plate from dinner, as opposed to, okay, everyone's going to get a steak and everyone's going to get potatoes and broccoli or whatever you want to do.
Yeah, because that's all we used to get when we were kids.
That's all you used to get.
And then you get used to it. So then you do it.
But then, like, my children are a little bit older now, but then when they're younger, you're creating 3 different dishes for everyone. So you may as well just put those 3 different dishes in the middle of the table and graze.
Yeah, and everyone
can eat like that.
And then you're all talking.
Yeah.
You're all sharing.
That's what it is. It's much more communal. I think we're probably one of the only cultures that probably don't eat like that, to be honest. Like if you go through Thailand, Vietnam, China, Italy, I think most of the stuff would be placed in the middle of the table and people are
They all do that,
They all do that. We're probably one of the only societies that don't.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's probably a big change. But that comes down to probably... I don't know about education, but probably more so travel but I don't even think you need to really travel too much now with the internet and Instagram and, you know, especially to pick up on food.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, lots of little tips around and you just see a menu that you like, or not even a menu, but just a dish that you happen to like and you go, oh, I'll try that. Looks
exactly.
Okay.
That's what it is. And everyone's very open. Gone are the days where, oh, no, you can't have the recipe or you can't get that recipe. Now you're bombarded. Like you've got so much information out there. It's almost overwhelming.
Oh, so much.
You know? And that's the other thing as well. Like, it's not anymore like you got the bottle shop where you rock in and there's 4 beers in the store. Now you go to the supermarket and you've got like 5 different varieties of mushroom. You've got 6 different varieties of potato. You know what I mean? So you have to be a little bit more educated as a foodie because, you'll be there and it's like, well, why am I buying these potatoes? Or what's the difference? So you're hitting Google or you're hitting AI or, you know what I mean, to figure that out.
Yeah, and I've even seen it when like you could use AI and things. You can just plug like what you've got in the fridge or the cupboard and say, "Hey, make me up something quick like this," and you go and it'll,
and I mean that's a benefit of a chef, and that's something my wife's always like, "Oh, well, you can just make something out of nothing."
Yeah,
and it's like, well, you just throw it together. But I think a big thing, the difference between a chef and a home cook, a chef's just more confident in the kitchen, so they're happy just to okay, let's just throw this together. It doesn't need to be too crazy. And let's just eat something, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I used to like that show, the Chef and the Cook, the Maggie Bee one. That was a great show. She was really cool.
That's very good.
Yeah, because it would be just chatty, and then he was like really, you could see like he'd be more measured. She'd just be throwing stuff together.
Adelaide. He was running the convention centre, I think, that guy. Simon.
Simon,
Yeah, Simon. Yeah, they were very good together, actually.
Yeah, they were a good pairing.
It was good.
Yeah, it's a good show. Yeah, so do you cook much at home?
Not as much as I should. My wife hates cooking, and she cooks more than me at home. But when I do, I just simple. Know what I mean? I normally use like the barbecue outside.
Yep.
I just find it easy, and salads normally.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I might cook a little bit of chicken thigh or something simple on the grill, and then just put a couple of salads together. And we normally
and that's nice and healthy and simple and quick.
Healthy. Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah.
You know, and I think. Well, as a chef, you're always picking, like you're always tasting and eating like a bit of carrot or a bit of this or a bit of whatever. So we don't eat too bad. Like people think we either don't eat at all or we eat a lot, you know?
Because you're always around food.
Yeah, because you're always around food. Yeah. So your perception of food's probably a little bit different than a normal person to a certain degree.
Yeah, and there'd be some smells like you'd walk in and you don't want to smell that anymore, or you've just or other ones that you just love.
Nah. Oh well, I mean the ones that you love, it's like if you rock in and someone's baking a cake or bread, or I mean they're just human intuition or something like that's cooking. That's like that smells delicious. I guess one that sort of sticks in mind. Like as if when you first rock into a kitchen, if there's a stock ticking over, I know that if you rock into a kitchen early morning and you smell that stock, that brings back sort of memories or that sort of, I'm in a kitchen or you know what I mean, that type of aspect. But there's nothing that sort of triggers me to be like, that's gross or, you know. I guess the only one is like if you cook, or not if you cook, but if you slice down daikon radish, like a white long radish and you put it in water, so it doesn't oxidize and let it sit sort of overnight and it becomes transparent, use it as a garnish or pickle or whatever you want to do. If you take the lid off that, it smells like someone's heavily farted. You know what I mean? So that's probably one thing.
You don't open up to.
No, you don't open up if there's anyone sort of new in the kitchen.
If there's a couple of customers around.
Or if you're sort of in an area where it's like, okay, this person may have think I might have just accidentally relieved myself somewhere. You do that in private, take the lid off that and drain the water. So, but no, there's nothing too crazy, you know, that I can think of.
And so what's exciting you the most about it for the future at Touch of Salt? Like where are you guys heading next?
Scary, I think. 20 years, we sort of reflect on, I guess, 20 years of what we've done in the past and what we're up to in the future. I see big things sort of happening through the city. You know what I mean? I know that everyone's always been like, there's not much going on through the city, but in regards to where we're situated and all the sort of, I guess, things like Flinders Lane that are...
Yeah, I saw you doing some like the parallels with the underground.
That definitely. Really good. That's an association where hopefully I'm going to kick off a little bit more. You know what I mean? So I think things through the city are exciting. There's a bit of development and stuff like that going on, which you can see. And I mean, from our perspective, we've sort of been hanging on, or not hanging on, but thinking, like it'll take off. Yeah. Like the city will, thrive and start. So hopefully
we're growing. Like all the stats that I see, we're about 205,000 people now. We're going to have 230 by the end of the decade. That's only 5 years away.
Yeah. So we're like I felt like it for a while. We're on the cusp of something.
Yeah, something special.
You know what I mean? And to be established in a town that in a town that's progressive and progressing quite quickly is exciting for us because we know that, we have a good reputation through town. You know what I mean? Like if you look on Google and stuff like that, our name pops up relatively regularly.
Yeah.
So if we can sort of secure ourselves in that sort of upper echelon of the restaurants and stay with the industry as the town booms, then mate, we might be in a good spot. It's taken us 20 years, but you know, no, we've had very little.
It's just consistency, I think.
Yeah,
I think it's just consistently top end, high quality.
Yeah. That, and I think it's all family run. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? So I think that's been a huge benefit for us, that we've all sort of pulled together and sort of pushed through. If there's any patches where it looks like, this could be a struggle, then we've sort of attacked that as a whole family, realistically. So that's been a big reason, probably why we're around and why we're still around. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because a lot of restaurants do. They probably go 5-10 years and then they sort of
exactly.
I don't know. Something happens. Like
there'll either be like a change of ownership, or it could be a change of chef, or it could be a change of, you know what I mean. So yeah, when you look back to sort of that you've been working together, not only as a family but as a business for the last 20 years, it's actually very impressive.
It really is.
We still talk to each other, to be totally honest.
There'd be a lot of ups and downs from that.
Mate, that's
just life.
You know, that's life not only in business, but I think that's life in a family demographic as well. You know,
and that's the thing with brothers too. I got a couple of brothers and sisters, and growing up, you all fight, but you all get on, and you all got a common goal at the end. So it doesn't matter what it is. I think being family, you can overcome those things, whereas someone else on the outside might not be able to.
You know as well, like you're always going to have each other's back. You know what I mean? So you might have a disagreement about something or things like that, but the next day it's forgotten about. You know what I mean? You might have a disagreement or something with a fellow co-worker, the next day there's a grudge or it's held, or you've got to sit down and let's discuss this, you know what I mean? Whereas because we know each other very, very well.
And you tested those boundaries when you're kids?
Mate, you know how to, you can press each other's buttons very, very quickly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it can be as simple as a look, it can be as simple as so that's something.
Yeah. On good and bad. Like you be a bad look and then it would just be like a funny giggle and you just can't stop giggling about something that,
you know what I mean? So I think that is that's our point of difference. Yeah, that's probably the thing that's maintained us where we are, you know, has been that family unit.
Yeah,
without
100%.
a doubt.
Yeah, and teaching all the young kids coming through. Would you get them on chef out of water as well? Would you send them off to do things?
That's the aim. That's the aim, and the aim of the chef out of water stuff is to be student based and educational based.
Yeah.
And that's what we're working with the Spoons Company in Cambodia to hopefully eventually get some of their students over here, and then we can either send some of potential TAFE students or restaurant apprentices over there. And the same deal with swaps of mentors or trainers or I plan to go over there and do some things, and hopefully I can bring one of their chefs over and sort of teach my guys or do bits with my guys for a while.
And you'd see your guys go from like a 3 or 4 year chef and their experience would just double in it.
Yeah, without a doubt. That and an incentive. Like the incentive also to go away and see something different and work with different produce and talk to different people and see other things. Yeah, very, very beneficial in all aspects.
Yeah. So how talking about that, so how do you define success now? From early days it would have been just getting through, but now it'd be different.
I think how I define success now, I think our team's continuously growing. And not only in their experience, but also as in those guys as leaders. My job has got easier. I've probably got more time on my hands than I previously had. So success for me is probably to have that available time, or to have that sort of luxury to be able to choose when and not I'm needed.
And you could have more family time now too.
Yeah. So I can have more sort of time away.
Yeah.
And as far as I'm still very hands-on. Like I'm still in there a lot, and I'm probably 20 years in and still figuring that out a little bit. Okay, you can relax. You don't need to be there every
night, every service.
You know what I mean? So, but to give my guys more freedom, I consider that as a success, to be sort of comfortable enough and confident enough in my team that I can not have to continuously think or be the one that's continuously driving everything. Yeah. I think I consider that a success, to be totally honest.
Yeah, and I think you would look at that and you'd be proud of yourself thinking like that.
Very much. I mean, chefs self-critique themselves pretty hard. But that's something I'm definitely proud of, to think that I've created a team or a culture, like a restaurant culture, realistically, that they're quite happy to go along and don't necessarily need my overall input. At the same aspect, that makes you feel a bit, oh, what's next for me? But I mean, that again, I think that's a sign of success. If you've got something that you can be like, okay, well, now I can focus on something else, or I can focus on what can we do extra as a business, or I think that's a sign of success as well, to be honest.
Yeah, and you can work on the business, not just in the business all the time.
I think to have that, like a little bit of freedom, surely that's a sign of success, I think.
Yeah. Is there anything you'd go back and tell like 26-year-old Michael?
Just keep your knife sharp, you lazy bastard.
Yeah.
Don't know. Sometimes I'm like, mate, what are you? Were you crazy? You know what I mean? Like, what are you thinking? Like, but standing or sitting here now, I probably wouldn't tell him anything different. Like, go, mate. Like, you're doing well, probably.
Yeah.
Is what I would say. Like, just listen to yourself.
Yeah, because I don't think you hear that too often when you're young.
Yeah.
Like, you're just going at it, but not many people would be going, you are doing a good job.
Yeah, that's right. So I'd probably tell myself that, like, you're doing well. Like, carry on.
Keep going.
Yeah, you're not doing anything wrong or, Well, I would have been doing a lot of wrong things, but in regards to, mate, it works out. You know what I mean? You'll be fine. Yeah. You're doing well. Keep doing what you're doing.
That's good advice.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. Towards the end, we got a bit of a tradition on the podcast now to go rapid fire questions. So we throw a couple at you. What's one ingredient that you absolutely love cooking with?
Well, that I think is a necessity, lemons.
Lemons? Yep.
I think it's a necessity. I think you can control the sauce with them. I think all aspects of a lemon can be used through from the skin, the zest, the juice, drink.
It's a really good answer. I wouldn't have thought of that.
Yeah. Very, very versatile and can change. You put lemon on whatever dish you're doing, whether or not you grate a little bit of zest through your salad or squeeze a little bit of the juice in your tomato sauce or whatever. Game changer.
Yeah. Okay, cool. What's one kitchen tool or gadget that you can't live without?
Everyone would say a knife, but probably a peeler. Maybe a peeler.
Oh yeah, peeler. Yeah,
probably
just
a peeler.
basically a peeler.
Yeah, I think so. Probably a peeler. Let's go with that one.
Yeah. Okay. Name a chef or mentor that has inspired your career. I think we did it earlier, but
there's a few. Philip Johnson as a restaurant, and myself as a individual, a guy called Jimmy Manel.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. What was he to you?
He was my second head chef. He was probably the reason, or one of the big reasons, that I felt that camaraderie in the kitchen and that leadership. And it's probably my leadership style has probably been somewhat similar to his, that sort of hands-on approach. And I'm still friends with him now. So consider him a big inspiration in regards to my cooking career or life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. I hope he's having a listen.
Mate, he can't probably. He will be. Yeah, I'll let him know. He'll owe me a beer.
Is he still in Townsville?
He is. Yep. Yeah. He works at the TAFE College in Townsville.
Oh, yeah, awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Most memorable meal that you've eaten?
Most memorable meal I've eaten was in probably Venice. And it was a simple dish. It wasn't like a high-quality restaurant or anything like that. And it was a melanzane parmigiana, like an eggplant parmigiana.
Yeah.
So just thinly sliced eggplants. They used a scamosa, like a smoked mozzarella cheese, basil, fresh tomatoes, and just a simple salad on it. And that was just beautiful.
It was. I remember that when we went to Italy.
Yeah.
The food over there was just very, very simple, but very good.
Yeah,
it was just
confident,
fresh and
just confident cooking. You know what I mean? Yeah. But no, that very much so. I think would be the sort of standout. That or like a spaghetti vongole, like just basic clams and spaghetti, butter sauce. But two very simple dishes.
Yeah. If you had to pick one, like sweet or savoury?
What would I do?
Yeah.
Savoury.
Savoury?
Without a doubt. Sweet. I have always had a pastry chef and always will employ a pastry chef because
just not your thing.
I will make them, but as far as eating and cooking, savoury every day. I would peel 2 bags of potatoes over making a cake. Without a doubt.
Yeah. But if you weren't a chef, any other, what would you do?
If I wasn't a chef, I'd be a carpenter.
Carpenter. Yeah. So still making things, still creative with your
100%.
hands.
If I'm not making things in the kitchen, I'm making things at home.
Yeah.
Whether or not it's using old bits of wood for planter boxes or, definitely. I definitely would still be making something.
Yep.
Like I'd still be that sort of tradie or whatever you want to call it, but I would be a carpenter.
Big carpenter.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really cool. Do you have a guilty pleasure like food that you just would like that you wouldn't think of?
I like licorice.
Oh yeah.
I like licorice. Yeah. The I don't know if it's a guilty pleasure. It's not like anything that's bad for you. Although if you eat enough of it, it can change the color of your stool. But yeah, licorice. I
Licorice.
think. Yeah. But I like licorice. I like Guinness. I like dark beers. So I like those sort of flavors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just as we finish up, any words for like any aspiring chefs out there or people that want to get into cooking?
Do it. Like you got nothing to lose. Like realistically, if you feel like you like cooking and would like to try it as a career, try it. Like realistically, an apprenticeship, if you were going to become an apprentice chef, it's 3 years of your life. What we got back to before, saying that cooking itself is a life skill. I mean, you don't have to do a full apprenticeship, but if you did any form of cooking while at school, whether or not it's a job like in a little cafe or a restaurant or something like that, I think it will be beneficial for you for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
So cooking related, get into it. It's one of those industries, the further you go along, the more things that can happen. The main reason I got into cooking itself was the travel aspect. And I mean, I've been lucky enough to, as we said, with the Chef Out of Water stuff and get to travel and meet different cultures and...
Yeah, different cultures, different foods, different techniques, just different
without
people.
a doubt. But people these days probably going to have 3 or 4 different careers, as they pan through. So if you enjoy cooking and want to get into it, it's a very easy trade to get into. It's very beneficial from a life skills productive.
And you'd never be without it. Even if you don't go on to be a world's best chef.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah,
try it.
Just try it.
See how you go. Yeah.
Oh, mate, thank you.
Yeah, pleasure.
Yeah, thanks, Michael. Thanks for coming on, mate. Okay. Sharing your journey from everything. I think we covered everything.
Without a doubt.
Yeah, so mate, might even have you on. Just sort of talk seasons, things like that down the track. As things change, what's popular, what's not, all that sort of stuff. If you're up for it.
Yeah, without a doubt.
I really appreciate it. And for anyone in Townsville that's listening, or even if you're not in Townsville but thinking of visiting, get down to Touch Salt and see the guys down there. So thanks, Michael. Thanks.
Thank you very much.
Thanks everyone for listening.
Cheers, Matt. Appreciate it.
Thanks, mate. Yeah.
Good.
Thank you.